Yeah, I was just gonna look some translations anyway. What we're gonna talk about today is just basically the fact that I'm really smart and I have something to teach you. I have something to teach you. So what it is it's basically about paralysis, a bunch of other cool stuff about just having to single people out. How to get good game. How to hold in your words, all that stuff. Um, Basically, it's just a bunch of stuff that is all related. Goes together, goes good, sounds good. Anyway, first thing we're gonna look at is Freaky Tales by St. Clown Posse. Guarantee. Put on some headphones, listen to this whole thing for a whole, listen to this whole thing, and close out everything, turn off the lights. Have like a lava lamp going or something. Close your eyes, sit there and listen to it. Feel it, fuck you. Feel it, fucking. That's kind of one of the things we're looking at. Another thing we're looking at is the whole movies of all of the American Pie. Basically, how these things are really singled out. It looks a lot like the Eminem form of stuff. How he looks at stuff, singles things out. Stifler's a really good lesson, good thing to learn. One thing about Stifler that you'll figure out is that in one of the scenes, something I learned was the fact that he tells Jim, not to get his dick hard when he's talking to the girl. He always says one time at band camp. And it's pretty easy to kind of figure out, that, band camp, and just the fact that, the speech, has to do with disabling your body. You have to picture that there's two different forms of people. One is there's like a form that's kind of here to see what's going on, and there's another form of people that is like, constantly like feeling and like checking stuff and grabbing stuff and looking at stuff and feeling it and playing it and fucking it and jumping up and down and trying this and trying that. And once you figure out how to do that, basically you figure out how to do the paralysis thing where, you're talking to somebody and then you talk by, having all that crazy shit going on with you talking, because you talking can do a lot more than you can not. I used to be in class, and I'd sit there by myself and, I wouldn't say anything and everybody else would talk for me. And it kind of taught me that, I could also talk, at certain times, and I'd realize how that works is when, part of your body is disabled. That means it's already carrying out an action by not carrying out an action, which is double negative. And that's basically what I was talking about. And when that happens, basically, learning, how to, stay limp. You can't actually literally try to stay limp because, one thing about that is just the fact that, you have to be able to have some kind of force, and you got to be able to have some kind of dimension of something that you're holding, and that's all it is really, is just touching dimensions. But also is the fact that, you can't be fully limp, ever. You have to be, another thing to look at is probably just, I'd probably say, negating the Simpsons. Figure out how to drain the Simpson, because when you touch a Simpson, um, when you look at the Simpsons, they look really squishy, and it's actually molestation, which is another thing I could add. I just kind of randomly came up with that, but if you squish a Simpson, you were literally molesting, your sister, daughter, cousin, father, mother, brother, or yourself, or something, things, animals, dogs, everything in that whole freaking movie. Cats, pets, everything, and just figuring out how that works, because you see how the dimensions are, how the shapes are, and everything. Their eyes, their nose looks like titties coming out. This looks like it could be a belly button, or something. That does not look mathematically right unless it's just having sex, and those are actually titties, and that's other stuff. A person doesn't have a jaw. You realize that a long time ago, incest, used to give people the fact that they have a smaller jawline. With no jawline, it's obviously even worse. And let's see what else I could tell you. It's basically about the paralysis. Is you have to be able to, preoccupy, all four parts of your body, be able to give yourself a position, which is kind of like yoga position, or just something you can envision, that, and like in here, will give you that. If you listen to Freaky Tales, you probably understand it, but it's basically just how to get your entire body to, be able to be fully outstretched like that, to where your legs, are fully outstretched, and that your arms are fully outstretched like that. So you're fully outstretched like this, like a star, you know. And then, you know, once you figure out how to do that, you know, you want to have this arm disabled, and your legs disabled. It's kind of like cheerleaders and pom-poms. And we'll go ahead and talk about that. Oh man, 64 team battle. Looking at your characters, you know, Bomberman is a really good character that you can look at because it has so much more information that goes with. And when you look at it, you know, the characters, you know, they're made with a ponytail right here. You know how samurais have, you know, the tail right here, and it can be pulled like this to turn and everything. And you know, the way I look at it is a dimension is kind of how this head is right here, and it's got the little circle. You know, and how these things move and everything is really important to try to notice. And anyway, so you know, laying the bombs and everything is really important because when you're speaking, you know, you don't want to touch the bomb. You know, and it kind of teaches you not to touch that bomb, but have fun with the other stuff. You know, and other cool effects. And that's exactly what Paralysis is about. Being able to paralyze somebody and post them up against the wall, just like you jack somebody up against the wall, you know, and now you're telling them what's going on. You know, it would be so insane. But anyway, you know, it's kind of inspired from that. Playing this whole game, you'll learn so much about it. And it's about having a small character version of you. You know, I have a tattoo right here on my arm of mine, you know, which is just his symbol, but he has other forms and stuff. But anyway, that, you know, basically is a Bomberman, you know, and I'm also a Bomberman, you know, but my favorite one was the red one when I was growing up. But I like the other ones too, they have different colors. But anyway, you know, they have balls as their hands and feet and everything, so it's like they're just pom-poms. You know, it's like they have, you know, a joystick, which, you know, if not used, then it'll be like one of those fat girls on a computer, and, you know, it has like long hair, and then it has like a bun right here. You'll see a bun right there, and it'll be like lazy with like big glasses. You'll be like, you know, I forgot those prosthetic bread, you know, and she talks about something really like slow and stuff. And that's when you know that you need to learn about the Bomberman instead of like looking at someone who's lazy, who's on a computer, just clicking and stuff. And you know, basically it's like using pom poms, you know, in two hands. And you know. But anyway, one of the levels on here it has two walls on both sides right here, and then the walls start closing in on both sides. And you know, I just kind of picture like, I mean, it's a lot of information to really understand, but it's kind of like looking at like something that falls through, like, you know, like kind of like pinball is another good example. You know how pinball has like towards the end of the game, and then it just kind of goes up like this, and then the pinball just kind of falls through, you know, or goes like that, and then the pinball falls through. You know, it's really cool to be able to do that to a person, and you know, it's very awesome. And when I look at the physics of that, and when I look at the physics of just Bomberman, you know, with that team battle level, that level, when it starts to close in like that, you know, you know, I kind of envision kind of like 3D, you know, like where I'm stuck and I'm just watching something falling, you know, kind of like in Bomberman 64. But anyway, yeah, I think that's all you really need to know about that, you know. And, you know, study Eminem, of course. And, you know, Eminem talks around everything. He never says, I've never seen Eminem even say the word sex. He's never said the word sex in one of his songs, ever. And it's just a good point. Eminem has never said the word sex in any of his raps, ever. And, you know, wait a minute, he has one. Well, he only said it one time. No one gives a shit besides some kids who just got into sex. That's not. Oh, that is him. Oh man, I didn't even read this yet. Well, anyway, he only said it in one song, and that means that it's probably an explicit of something he did not want to say. It's like when he said the N word, he only said it one time because he has to give you an example of what not to say. But he's never said the word sex in a song that I've ever heard. I've never heard the song Syllables featuring Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, Daisy Cassius, and Stankwell. And anyway, when you speak around it, it's supposed to come up. Visuals that you're never going to see. It's going to be, like looking at a tower or something. Picture all the people lined up in a room, in a circle. And it's also, getting head, of course. But it's got to have dimensions. You don't know. It's supposed to have, a way for something to, when you say the right words, it turns somebody on. It's supposed to be able to make it, make the click hard, and it pushes up like that. And then it feels good, and then it keeps going further, But there's a lot of things, like when you watch the movie American Pie, where, just people and parents and people and family, that overlaps each other and, tells each other the wrong things when they get too close to each other. That basically has to do with that. And, in the middle of that, which, like I just described it, it's supposed to be able to, kind of make it like another visual. It's kind of like a flat land right here, and kind of like Super Mario World or something. It has flat, and then you have this little dip right here, where the fall when when he gets caught. But also, you can see how, like you design like a little, kind of like a bear trap. It has a little thing right here, and then you put sticks over it and stuff. I used to, build those, but anyway. The thing about that is just that, doing a pitfall like that, and avoiding that trap, you can actually accumulate energy, from avoiding something that you could have fallen into, even though you obviously have already fallen into it, and you're checking it out, and you're seeing how you didn't fall into it, because, you're in there. And you have the active you that's just doing all this stuff, and you have the one that's sitting in the back avoiding it, and that's kind of important to kind of figure out, But I mean, there's no way that we aren't just constantly feeling and inspecting and checking and testing stuff and trying stuff, testing how stuff feels and works and moves and all that stuff. So anyway, hope you like that. That's some advanced lyricism. Go pick it up, learn a little bit, be a little bit smarter.